Minister Bains. So happy to have you here. Thank you so much.
Well, glad to be here. Thank you very much, Alistair.
And I just want to say for the audience, if you have questions for the Minister, you're all far more interesting than I am, so there are microphones set up on the side. So after about 10 minutes, we're going to invite questions from the audience. But I do want to give a shout out to the transparency that I had setting this up. I was talking to the Minister's team. I'm like, you can, get the audience to text questions and we'll vet them and then we'll bring, and one of his assistants shot me down. She's like, no, the Minister can handle his own questions. And I love that about the attitude we have to innovation and to government in general. So the floor will be yours for half of this conversation. So first off, why do we have a Minister of Innovation? And maybe you can tell us what role the government has in something that's often seen as a private sector function.
Well, thanks for the question. I just want to take this opportunity to say it's absolutely amazing to be here. I was just thinking to myself just a few days ago, my father came here in 1972 with $5 in his pocket. He was very young. And I am now a Minister of the Crown. And that says a lot about Canada. And we're absolutely so lucky to be in such an amazing country. So I just want to put that out there. I'm absolutely honored to be here. The Canadian dream is live and well. So the whole concept around innovation is really our government's recognition. When Prime Minister Trudeau formed government, he clearly recognized that we were in a global innovation race. That even if you look at emerging economies, they're making big bets on innovation. When I was in China, Premier Lee was talking about mass innovation. When I'm dealing with my counterparts in India, they want to talk about technology and innovation. And obviously, I'm going to be meeting with my counterparts in the US as well, in the UK in a few days, and it's all about innovation. So we're in a global innovation race, and it's all about good quality jobs, about growth in the economy, and finding solutions to problems that can help the quality of life of our fellow citizens. So our government recognizes this, and that's why, we created a minister responsible for innovation to build that partnership with the private sector, to take risks. And we worked very closely. We identified a lot of gaps and a lot of opportunities, and we're very excited about the work we can do together with the private sector.
So for most developed countries, the government is one of the largest single buyers of information technology, which is obviously a field that's heavily slanted towards startups. But most startups I talk to, they have people say, are you B2C or B2B? Nobody says, are you B2G, like business to government? It seems like there's a huge market, but startups avoid it, which leaves it to the very large incumbents to get like the plum long-term contracts and so on. Why do you think startups tend to avoid selling to government?
2 words, red tape. My father was, yeah, absolutely. Nothing to be proud of, but it is a legitimate challenge in government, particularly for small businesses that are focused on their technology or their solution or focused on their operations. They don't have a big government relations department. They don't have a PR section. They don't have, the skills or even the resources to deal with government and all the red tape associated with that. So that's one legitimate challenge. And that's why our government pursued the Canadian Free Trade Agreement to really eliminate barriers and irritants amongst provinces and territories and to promote easier access for businesses to procurement because government is such an important marquee customer. And the other is the fact that governments don't like to take risk. When we have our procurement processes, it's always about the lowest cost provider. It's always about finding the cheapest solution because that's, the political reality that we live in. When I'm in the House of Commons and the opposition asks me, why did you invest in this company or why did you buy from this company when you could have had another product that was cheaper? I can't say, we need to take risk in this new product because it can really help this company succeed. It's a very difficult conversation to have politically. So there's a lot of red tape, and government doesn't want to take risk. But our government recognizes that we must take risk. If we want to be a meaningful partner, if we're saying to you as entrepreneurs, take risk, make an effort to try something new, challenge the status quo, then we must also be at the table implementing similar policies and strategies and goals as well. And that's why we've introduced Innovation Solutions Canada. And what we said as a government is saying, look, we have a bunch of challenges, we have a bunch of problems, and we're going to go out to you, and you're going to help solve those problems for us. We're going to help you with the proof of concept. And we're going to spend up to $150,000 for that proof of concept. Then we're going to spend up to $1 million to help build that prototype. And more importantly, we're going to make sure after that prototype is complete that the government can be a marquee customer for you. So it's all about innovation, helping small businesses, taking risks on technology and solutions, and being a marquee customer. Because often, as you know, when you travel abroad, they say, oh, great, that's a really great solution, or that's a really great idea. Do you do business with the government of Canada? And when you say no, it shuts the door pretty hard in your face.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and so it's really about saying, look, how can we open doors and create opportunities for small businesses?
Is that a fairly new program?
Absolutely. It was part of our budget. Our budget's primary focus is around innovation and skills, and this was launched in our budget, and we'll be implementing it in the next few months.
So there's no URL to go to right now, but there will be?
Not yet, but we'll definitely share that information with you shortly.
I think everyone in this room is like, can I take a picture of that slide? I want to go submit something.
No, absolutely. It really is, and it's big bucks. We're talking about over $100 million to start off with, so we're not talking about a small amount. Remember, government procures a lot. If you exclude defense, for example, and military, we still procure and we still purchase up to $18 billion annually. So there's tremendous opportunities for small businesses.
That's awesome. That's very relevant to this audience. So we've talked a little bit about how people are key to cultural change. And you just mentioned the red tape and the risk aversion and so on. In other countries, they've got projects like GDS in the UK, or 18F in the US, or the Defense Innovation Unit X, that are programs that try to accelerate innovation within government. So it's great to say we're going to act as a more risk-tolerant buyer of technology. But there are these programs that try and change innovation within government itself. What do you think Canada needs to set up to make the government itself more innovative?
So you're absolutely right. I mean, again, we can help companies and be a meaningful partner to promote innovation, and that's all about taking risk. And the speaker before talked about not only taking risk, but being able to accept failure, but you want to make sure you fail fast, that you learn fast, and you never quit. And so that's the same mentality we need to have in government. One area that you're very familiar with that we're trying to transform government is around big data and open data. This is an area, there's just so much opportunity. Government is a producer of enormous amount of information, enormous amount of data. And as we think about artificial intelligence and machine learning, there are just so many opportunities to find solutions. And that data is just there, being unused, and the potential is enormous. So we're looking at how we collect data in a more meaningful way, how we can deal with data fragmentation, and how we can share that data with businesses. Businesses, many of you like this in this room, to help government find solutions, solve problems. And that's what really is exciting, because many of you understand from your own experiences and running your companies and software companies and the technology adoption that you have in your own experiences, data is so critical. And so we as a government want to work with you on that to help bring about a lot of innovation within government around our processes and how we deal with our fellow citizens.
All right, last quick question, then we'll turn it over to the audience. You mentioned that your father came here with $5 in his pocket. As Canadians, we're often stereotyped on the world stage as sort of careful, cautious apologists. That's definitely opposite to the move fast and break things kind of mentality. What role do you think immigration plays in changing the Canadian culture about opportunism and innovation?
Well, I think immigration is a point of pride for Canada. While some parts of the world are focused on building walls, we're focused on opening doors. And this really is a point of pride. This is not only the right thing to do, but it makes good business sense. And we as a government recognize that in Canada, our fellow citizens and our fellow people don't have a monopoly on good ideas. And so that's why we created the Global Skills Strategy. So if you're a company, doesn't matter what your size is, but if you're a high growth company and you're growing and you need either a CTO or a CFO or an engineer or somebody, that, a particular technician, high in demand with specialized skills, you can bring anyone from around the world now in a matter of 2 weeks. So we've streamlined the visa processing time for 2 weeks. So in 10 days, we have a service standard delivery. And we're saying to businesses that within 2 weeks, you need somebody here, you can bring anyone, because we don't, like I said, have a monopoly on good ideas, and we truly want to be open to the world. And the reason for that is my own experience. My father, as mentioned earlier, came here literally with $5 in his pocket. And he came here, like many other immigrants, to succeed. He didn't come here to fail. He didn't leave his remote village, his humble beginnings in a small town in Rajasthan, India, to come to Canada in this really cold weather. He landed in cold weather to fail. He came here to succeed. He took many risks, ultimately started his own business and succeeded and employed Canadians. And that's what people don't really truly appreciate. That desire to succeed helps Canada. That desire to succeed creates more businesses and helps employ more Canadians. And if we're talking about jobs and growth, which our government is focused on, that's why we're making such a big bet on immigration. That desire to succeed, which translates into success for all Canadians because it helps more companies grow and it creates more Canadian jobs.
Awesome. So there are 2 microphones here. I noticed one gentleman's already lined up there. There's another one there. If you want to line up, if you have questions, please keep your questions brief. Don't make broad sweeping statements because the minister's time is very precious. He's heading off to the States shortly after this, which is why he's in a suit and not jeans.
Yeah, I apologize about the attire. I was going to wear my jeans, sporty turban, but I have a formal meeting afterwards, so I do apologize.
He does have the Startupfest colored turban, which is awesome. All right, sir, go ahead.
Yeah, so you already briefly mentioned, artificial intelligence and machine learning, and there's a lot of talk about that potentially disrupting a lot of jobs, and a lot of really good jobs, a lot of white-collar jobs. So I'm curious, how is the Canadian government thinking about handling this potential, massive transition in the job market?
Well, we recognize that the transition is already occurring. First of all, this is not something that's going to happen 20, 30 years. This is just around the corner. We recognize that we have 2 options. It's not about people versus machines. It's about us as a government, us as a society, us as a people, embracing technology, embracing the opportunities that exist to create good quality, high-value, resilient jobs. Because at the end of the day, it's really about maintaining and enhancing our quality of life. And we want to be that jurisdiction no matter where you are. You can come to Canada to try out your technology. We want to create regulations that really create an opportunity for individuals to test their new technologies. We want small businesses to adopt more technology more quickly. And for us, we believe that technology in the long run creates more jobs. And I gave the Bromont example for GE, where they made a significant investments in technology in that facility. And the workers were hesitant and reluctant, and this was just recently written in the newspaper as well when I shared this story last time at a conference. And they actually embraced that technology. They retrained those employees, and now they have more people working in that facility, which is a world-class facility, and that's created more jobs. So that's the mindset. It's about us saying, look, artificial intelligence is going to create more opportunities. We need to, as a government, focus on skills and training and focusing on those people that want to adjust to the new economy. But if we adopt technology, I have no doubt that will create more opportunities for our fellow citizens.
All right, ma'am.
So you spoke about global skills strategy, and that really is something that I see as a real need. As being somebody who works with startups, many times talent is a really big hindrance. So my question is, how about Quebec? Will this 2-week expedition of talent be something that we can look forward to in the province of Quebec?
Absolutely. This is a national program. And this really reflects the #1 issue I heard from businesses. When we formed government, we didn't implement our policies right off the bat. We spent months and months engaging small businesses, engaging civil society, engaging large businesses, engaging academia and industry, and saying, look, what are your needs and concerns? And the #1 issue, consistently in all our conversations around talent and people. And so that's why we introduced this global skills strategy. And the idea is that it is absolutely applicable to all jurisdictions. We're still working with the province of Quebec to finalize the details, but I'm confident that we'll be able to implement it, and it's applicable here in Quebec and across the country.
Sir.
Thank you. When we speak about talent and people, one of the big concerns I feel is our education system, specifically at the primary, secondary level. So what can we do to take the private sector, all the brains in this room, and really improve our education system? Even though it's provincially legislated, what could the federal government do to ensure that science, technology, engineering, math, innovation, robotics is not just for private schools, but for public schools as well?
No, it's a really thoughtful question. I mean, we have a political challenge when we talk about education, particularly in the primary age groups. The provinces get very defensive because that's traditionally their jurisdiction. And I've got 2 young girls, a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old, and I want them to really focus on STEM. You know, we recently just introduced 2 new astronauts. Our new Governor General is a former astronaut. So as a, no, it's a point of pride. And my daughters were there at the Canadian Space Agency, and she was talking to Jennifer, our new astronaut. And it's really about role models and promoting science, technology, as you said, engineering and mathematics. So we are creating, you know, different programs to deal with certain gaps that we identified in the innovation ecosystem and our commitment to lifelong learning. And one initiative we put forward that we think will really help the public institutions, help the public schools, is a program called Can Code. And this program is about coding at a young age. And it's not to promote coding specifically. It's to promote digital literacy, helping young people, particularly young kids and girls in particular, to understand how to solve problems, to think critically. And that's an example of how we can work with the provinces, work with the education system, and also implicate the private sector. So we're also getting a lot of businesses to support this initiative as well, and create that critical mass. And you know, our goals are very ambitious. In the next few years, we want to help 500,000 young kids from kindergarten to grade 12 learn how to code. And those are the kinds of targets we're setting with these programs. And we'll be more than glad to share that with you. But we just recently launched that. And you can go to our website and get that information.
Okay, we're moving to the lightning round. We have about 20 seconds a question if we want to get through them all. So, sir, you're next, and then you.
Sure. I was fortunate enough to run a company here called Softimage, which was a worldwide success, 3D animation software. But more important, what most people didn't realize, it spawned 37 new technology companies from people who went on. The biggest reasons that happened was because of the R&D tax credit, terrific program here in Canada, as well as IRAP and the program there. My understanding is from contacts in IRAP is their funding is flat. And I guess my concern that I just want to raise is that's unfortunate, because that is a really important program for individual entrepreneurs to get access to allow them to go with risky technology.
A great question. We increased the funding for IRAP in our first budget. It's an amazing tool, and we'll continue to look at providing additional support going forward.
Hi there. I work in the defense sector, and I've done 2 ITB transactions. I find the process to be quite slow. Frankly, I don't understand how companies can bank credits for 10 years. How can we improve that program, the ITB program, and make transactions quicker, more accessible for startups, and therefore provide more capital?
Can you explain what ITD is?
Yeah, so it's an industrial technological benefit. It's associated with the government when we go out and make major acquisitions, primarily for military. So as we're pursuing fighter jets and the purchases of new fighter jets, we get industrial and technological benefits. So for every dollar that we spend in acquiring an asset, they must invest $1 into our economy to promote small businesses, to promote technology. So that's what an ITB is at a very high level. We're going to work very closely with small businesses in the supply chain to streamline the process to make sure businesses can get access more quickly and greater opportunities.
Okay, ma'am, last question.
Hi, I just want to say thank you. We are actually a company that was awarded a big contract by your ministry, so you do walk the talk, and I want to tell people that because it is possible. The BCIP program is the old program, I guess, of what you're referring to. Is it a completely new program, or it's a program that is derived from the old BCIP?
Brand new program. So BCIP is a program that exists to help small and medium-sized businesses do procurement with government. But it's basically saying, come and buy, and tell us what you can sell us. We changed the model. We're saying, no, here's our problems. Here's a set of challenges. Do you have a solution? And if you have a solution, we'll help you with the proof of concept. We'll help you with the prototype. Very similar to the SBIR program in the US. That's the model that we used, and it's a brand new program. And BCIP still exists, but it's very modest. It's $40 million. This is a brand new program that is up to $100 million.
All right. One thing I've learned about government is you need to know a lot of acronyms to understand what's going on. I don't need to know a lot of acronyms to know I'm very proud to have you as our Minister for Innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bains.
Thank you very much.